Bob. Bob. Hey, it's Julia here, your neuroscience and brain health educator, and in today's 10-minute memory hack, I'm going to teach you how to remember names. Here are 3 steps to getting good at remembering names. And in today's 10-minute memory hack, I want to help you learn how to remember names. This is probably the main complaint we get from clients, that they find it harder and harder to remember names as they get older. So let's address that one first. If it's a name of someone you've known for some time and you're having a hard time recalling it, it might be time to see your doctor. That's an early indicator of something that may be more severe. And I'm not talking about that one person you can never remember the name of. We all have that one person. I'm talking about people you've never met before or just 1 or 2 times. Let's go through some ways to remember those names. Real quick, if you like our 10-minute memory hacks and brain health tips, subscribe to our channel. We come out with new videos weekly for you. So, first of all, remembering names is not natural for humans. My 6-year-old has a terrible time with remembering names. Evolutionarily wise, we aren't meant to remember a name when we first meet somebody. That first 30 seconds is supposed to be used to determine if that person is a friend or a foe. For the past 100,000 years or so, the main predator to humans has been humans ourselves. We have been our only threat to our own survival. When we met a stranger in the forest, or they came into our camp, or they came into our cave, usually they were looking to hurt or even kill us, or take our food, or take our house. They were not typically our friends. So we weren't trying to remember their name. We were trying to figure out who they were and if they were going to kill us. That's why we can't remember names, because frankly, we weren't meant to. In that first 30 seconds, our amygdala, the very primitive part of our brain, is trying to protect you. And it's really hard to override that primitive brain. That's the way we're hardwired. So how do we override this wiring? We have to learn to and practice it, just like we do with any other learned skill. Because being good at remembering names is a learned skill. It is nurture, not nature, that makes someone good at that. So, step number 1, the first step, and frankly the hardest, is preparedness. Prepare yourself. If you're gonna walk into a party or an office meeting or whatever situation you know you're gonna meet new people, you have to prepare yourself outside to override your amygdala, which is, again, the fear center in your brain. You have to prepare to actually listen to somebody's name when they tell it to you the first time. Prepare yourself to listen to them, to focus on them, to hear them. Maybe even change the conversation so you ask them a question before they tell you their name, like, hey, how's your day going? And then ask their name. That will be so much easier to remember somebody's name because your amygdala will have calmed down by then and you can hear them and their name better and remember it. So next time you're ready to walk into a party, prepare your mind to meet new people. Don't be distracted, and then just slow down that first conversation upon meeting. But if you can't do this, I'll give you a few more easier tips right now because I know that's the hardest one. So let's go to step number 2. It's much easier. The next way is, let's say you want to do the traditional, hey, my name is Julia, hey, my name is Bob, in the first 5 seconds like we all do. Well, then just ask them their name again after you said yours. Or better yet, wait 30 seconds and ask again. And then even better, tell them your name again because you can bet they didn't hear your name either. You're gonna be doing them a huge favor remembering your name as well. What you wanna do is you wanna say, hey, I'm sorry, can you tell me your name again? And then just simply say, thanks, I'm Julia. So then you can take it in and you can register it. Now, the repetition is key. So what you want to do over the next few minutes is just repeat their name often. So yeah, Bob, tell me what you do for fun. Or Bob, how do you know so-and-so? Mention it as many times as you can over and over in the first few minutes. So that's the second way to remember somebody's name. Again, ask for their name after 30 seconds or a minute and just say, hey, can I get your name again? It's not rude. Believe me, they will be so relieved when you give them your name again. The third step is a mnemonic device. It goes kind of into association. Now, we've all met somebody and they say, hi, my name is Andrew. Well, now, I'm never going to forget that name. That's my son's name. We like to call him Drew for short. That's called association because I can now associate them with my son. That's pretty easy. We know that's super easy to do, but this isn't always that easy. If it's not a name that's in your immediate circle, like a best friend or a family member, it might be a little bit harder to associate them with anybody. Let's say someone's name, let's say it's Michael. Well, I know a million Michaels, so I can't just associate this new Michael with another Michael, right? Maybe if they look alike, but probably not. That's a little bit harder. Or Bob, it's such a common name. How am I going to remember that this guy's name is Bob when I know 10 other Bobs? Well, this is what you want to do, and it's fun. And once you get practiced at it and you use it a lot, you can use it as a game and it becomes really, really fun. So what you're going to want to do is picture something funny or crazy or sexy even that associates a name as an image inside your brain. You can picture Bob bobbing his head up and down to some music and maybe even picture him naked. You'll remember that. You're not going to forget that image ever, I promise you. Our brains remember much better when it's an image. They work on images. That's why they say the Chinese and Japanese can remember numbers better because their numbers are actually pictures. For us to remember 7 plus 4 is 11 takes a rotary memory. For them, it combines two images to create a new image that's so much easier. Then for you, take something from the conversation, like if Bob said he likes to sail and put him naked on a sailboat bobbing his head to music. And I promise you can see Bob 6 months from now and you're going to remember that his name is Bob when you see him standing naked on that sailboat bobbing his head up and down. And he's going to be so blown away by the fact that you can not only remember his name, but you remember that he likes to sail. The crazier the image, the more likely your brain will remember it. And you can use easier associations too, like if the name's Matt, you can picture a big shaggy green mat on his head. I had to use this exact association on a guy who kept getting his name wrong every time I saw him out in the water surfing. I finally did the Matt association and now I will never forget him because I will always picture him sitting on a surfboard with a big green shaggy mat on his bald head. It gets a little tricky though sometimes. Maybe it's a name you've never heard of before, or it's really unusual. Living in Sweden for 6 months of the year, I hear so many crazy names with sounds I'm not used to. It's very hard to associate these with anything. One recently was Matthias. It's just not a name I've ever heard of before. So what I had to do was then think about the English equivalent, which is Matthew. And then I can think about the mat on his head again, and there you go with the green shaggy mat. Maybe I need to add some T on it for the T-ist part, whatever it takes. Sometimes it can get, kind of tricky and you may have to break it down into 2 or 3 parts like the mat with the T. But that's a really, really powerful way to remember people's names. Another really beneficial thing to do for other people is give them the association. Like, my name is Julia. Because of the red hair, some people associate me with Julia Roberts. Not that we look anything alike, but sometimes I'll say, hi, my name is Julia, and Julia Roberts. And now they think about Julia Roberts, and now they remember my name is Julia. You're doing them a huge favor. So let's reiterate. The first one is preparedness, which is the hardest way. The second one is repetitiveness, to ask for their name a second or a third time after a minute. And the third one is to do some visualization and creative time with their name. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button to get a 10-minute memory hack every week. Thanks for watching.